Cars back again with another car buyer's guide. Today we are doing the F01 BMW 7 Series. This is going to be the 7 Series that went from around 2009 to 2015 in the United States. In my opinion, this is the best value 7 Series you can get. It is not only, I believe, one of the better looking 7 Series. I honestly think the newest, the G Series 7 Series, looks really nice, but this is a step above the Bengals E65 7 Series. The E34 7 Series is a nice looking car in terms of being like a classic shape, but I don't believe it's the best looking 7 Series. A lot of people do. A lot of people really enjoy that classic, simple, but it's understated, but it makes a statement at the same time. That old E34 7 Series, a lot of people like that. I think this one looks better though, and obviously this one has a lot more power than that one. It doesn't have the I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't have a V10, nothing that special. However, this did come with the V12. It's rare to get a V12 7 Series. It's not a sporty car by any means. It's more of a comfort-oriented V12, but it's still... Oh, wow. I literally just said the old E65 came with a V10. I'm sorry. That was a complete mistake. I meant to say that the old E65, it also came with a V12. So ignore that completely. I was just... that was a brain fart of mine. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the F01 7 Series. Yep. Best generation of car, in my opinion, was from 2007 to 2015. That's when the best cars were made. I don't care what you guys think. Everyone has different opinions, but that is the peak of automotive everything, in my opinion, and that is when the F1 7 Series took place, which only adds to why I love this car. Again, BMW's competition for the S-Class and the Audi A8. You could also consider a competition for the LS460, although I believe that the German cars are in a league of their own. As I mentioned before, Mercedes is kind of a luxury first brand. Audi is kind of an efficiency first brand. People hate it when I say that, but BMW is a sport first brand. And so what I believe, and is basically true, is that BMW cars are sporty first and then made luxurious, as opposed to like a sportier version of a Mercedes. If you get like a AMG or a AMG pack car, like a looking car, it's a luxury car that is made fast. The opposite of what BMW is. It's a fast car made luxury. That makes sense. Audi is just kind of in the middle, doing its own thing. But yeah, BMWs, they drive like nothing else. If you haven't driven a BMW, then you really don't understand. Get behind a wheel of a BMW and you'll see what I mean. Even the SUVs like the X5s, they drive very well. They drive like cars. It's kind of insane how well they drive. BMWs just feel different. Cool. Let's move on to some announcements. So if you haven't joined my Discord already, this is my Discord where we talk about cars and other car related stuff, car buying stuff. This is where I also put in all the guides. So as you can see, let me just share this real quick. I'm going to paste this link. And so if I didn't explain it thoroughly enough, what I do here on the channel is that I provide car buyer's guides. I go over the features, options, and problems with the cars I go over. And then afterwards, I go over ads, look for specific features and options package to look for when buying these cars, so I can show you exactly what they look like and how much you should expect to pay for it. I guess I just want to say, before I go into the ads for this, cars like this are not really that great out of warranty because they have so many problems. When I'm looking at cars like these, I try to find, I'm more on the higher mile side simply because I want to get cars that have had the issues addressed. And if they're low miles, that means that the issues aren't necessarily addressed. So a lot of these cars are going to have higher miles, the ones that I'm looking at specifically, and that's because of that reason. I'm trying to get a good deal. I'm not trying to get the cleanest, finest example. I'm trying to get one with all the problems addressed, because when you're buying these cars out of warranty, that's going to be the biggest issue, is running into the headache of the multitude of problems that can occur. Hey man, what's up? Who is that? Darius? Shout out to you, Darius. Shout out to Darius in the chat. I always love when people comment in the chat. It's dope seeing y'all here. And yep, only more car reviews to come. I'm gonna do more in real life car reviews, IRL style. I know you guys have seen those. Those are the older videos on my channel. I just haven't had a lot of new cars to review. I'm trying to pick cool cars for the channel. I could review some regular cars if you want to see that, but yeah, I could review the regular cars. I just don't think those videos would do too well, but I mean, they could. But yeah, let's get into the BMW 7 Series, the F01 chassis code. Cool, let's go to the features, options, and problems. And you can see I already had this stuff preloaded this time, trying to get this production value up. Cool, let's move this over. I should have preloaded this stuff too, but whatever. So a lot of different options to go over for the F01 BMW 7 Series. All right, never mind. Let me just do this one more time. I'm about to start using some other program besides Paint, because this like makes it a lot harder to work with, because Paint just kind of sucks as a program. Like that. What is going on? All right, we're gonna try this a third time because I can't get this right. All right, cool. So as I mentioned before, 2009 to 2015 was the model lifespan of the F01 7 Series. There was a facelift in 2013. In BMW speak, it is called the LCI, life cycle something, LCI. So the F1 was the chassis code, but that was actually technically for the short wheelbase version. This car came in short wheelbase and long wheelbase. The F2 was a long wheelbase version. In the United States, we're going to be looking at 4 different engine choices plus a hybrid. The hybrids are a little bit more rare, so there's only a few examples of those, but I'll go over that too. So we have the inline 6 3-liter N55 engine. This is going to be the 740 and 740 Li. You have the 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo. This is the N63. This is going to be in the 750 and 750 Li. We have the 6 liter V12, the N74. This is going to be the 760 Li. It doesn't come with regular standard wheelbase. And then we have the N57 3-liter diesel. This is going to be, I think it's only an Li as well in the United States. There's very few diesels in the United States. The N57 was the 740. They also made a 750D in other countries that used a tri-turbo setup. But the N57 is a twin turbo diesel, and that is for the 740. Pretty rare car. The cars come in either X-Drive all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. And the transmissions before the facelift was a 6-speed ZF, and then after the facelift was an 8-speed ZF, so keep that in mind when you're shopping around. The V12 always had the 8-speed, no matter if you got the LCI or the pre-LCI. As I mentioned before, the predecessor was the E65. The F1 has been known to be a lot more reliable, even though the N63 is a problem child of an engine. It's better than the example found in the E65. As I mentioned before, it also has a much cleaner design. A lot of people prefer this over the Bengal butt. The Bengal butt is kind of an acquired taste, but the F1 kind of has a very modern look. Here are the power numbers. The N55 makes 315 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque. The pre-LCI N63 makes 402 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque. The LCI N63 makes 444 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. The N74, the V12, makes 536 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. And the N57 diesel makes 308 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. The N57 diesel, that's a good amount of torque. It's a really good car if you want a car that can do long highway driving and also get good fuel economy. Not the best fuel economy, but good fuel economy when compared to, like, say, a 750. And then there's 2 active hybrid models. They were actually very different if you got facelift or pre-facelift. The pre-facelift came with the N63 twin-turbo V8 plus an electric motor, making 456 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque, which is actually insane. That means it is the second most powerful car right behind the V12. It is more powerful than the N63. However, this is like kind of counterintuitive for the hybrid model, and they realized this after when they facelifted the car. The highway miles per gallon for the pre-facelift hybrid was only 17 city, 26 highway. which was comparable to the V8 version and the N55. Honestly, the N55 is probably a little bit better. The N64 was a little bit worse, so it was right in the middle. But it was a hybrid, so it was like, why are we making this much power and being this efficient when we are trying to be a hybrid model? And that's what they did in the LCI. They changed it to an N55 plus the electric motor. So they dropped the V8, put it in the straight six. They put in a stronger electric motor to try to compensate a little bit, but the total power output for that one, for the LCI Active Hybrid 7, was 349 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. So it's now comparable to the N55, but has better fuel economy. Two very different cars, but again, both are very rare, so you probably won't be looking at those. And Active Hybrid 7s, obviously, you got to replace batteries at some point. You have a lot more systems that you need to worry about. So if you're looking for a car that's going to be problem-free, I recommend probably not going with the Active Hybrid 7 unless you think that you want that extra MPGs if you get the LCI version. Honestly, if you were really into cars, I could see an enthusiast getting a pre-LCI Active Hybrid 7 simply because the technology and the powertrain is pretty rare and pretty cool when you think about it. It's kind of comparable to the Lexus LS600H, where they put a hybrid system with the V8. It didn't really improve fuel economy over the 460. But that's kind of, I guess, where people's minds were at that time. The late 2000s, people want, in terms of hybrid, they thought, well, instead of making it more efficient, we can make it more powerful and keep the efficiency the same, as opposed to making it less powerful with more efficiency. Anyway, let's get on to the options. There are a ton for this car, an absolute ton of options, as is expected with these flagship sedans. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I definitely have to make sure I have this all situated before the show next time, because this is not good. Let's make this, what, 8? Yeah, that works. All right, cool. That fits. Let's get into it. So it's one thing you want to keep in mind for in terms of the models and model years. For the 2009, the first iteration of the 7 Series was the 750 and 760 only. The 740 did not come out until 2011 in the American model or market. In 2010, or excuse me, this is actually incorrect. In 2010, the 760 was introduced. So 1 year after the 750, the 760 was introduced, and 1 year after that, the 740 was introduced. In 2013, there was a facelift, and in 2015 was the final model year. In terms of facelift changes, there were a bunch. They were subtle, but they're completely different looking cars. You have a larger front, or larger grills, chrome surround. You have 9 grill slats instead of the original 12 per kidney. You have a large full width air intake. This is on the bottom. You have new curtain vents, a pair of chrome bars in revised front apron. So the bumper had 2 chrome bars added. The eyelash on the top of the headlights was changed. The rings, the LED angel eyes, have a squared off look to them as opposed to being round. The side mirrors had an addition of blinkers. Rear taillights are different. There was a second chrome strip added to the rear bumper, and then some individual options were added as well. And then you have new interior ambient lighting. You could change the color, which is pretty cool on the facelifted models. New optional rear seat entertainment package. The screens are now 9.2 inches. You have better soundproofing. Cool. And these are some of the packages. Again, we're going to go over it on the build sheets themselves, because they go over in much more detail. But you just look out for these keywords when you're shopping around for your F1 7 Series. You want the luxury seating package, luxury rear seating package, camera package, premium sound package, sport package, or M Sport package depending on the year, convenience package, cold weather package, driver's assistance package, rear entertainment package. The thing is, with the LCI 7 Series, they dropped a lot of the packages. They only offer really 2 packages, executive package and executive plus package for the LCI model, which is interesting. All the rest of the stuff is kind of on a option to option basis. as well as a lot of the things that were options on the pre-LCI became standard on the LCI, especially with the 750. The 740 has very few options, standard options when compared to the 750. The 750 has, for example, it has the nice seats. It has the rear. We'll go over it. But basically, the 750 has a lot more standard options. The 740 doesn't even come with multi-contour seat standard, which is crazy. I even have an example of a completely base 740. It's pretty interesting to look at. Anyway, some options to have. These are individual options to have, not being confused with individual like BMW individual, but individual as in a la carte. So options to have, you want dynamic drive control. This is going to be the suspension system, or dynamic drive. Dynamic damper control is a standard system. Dynamic drive is the upgrade. Adaptive cruise control. So again, a lot of these options are parts of these packages in pre-facelift cars, but what I'm talking about here is facelift cars. You want to look for these options to have, especially for the 2013, because these are facelift specific options. So for the options to have, adaptive cruise control, the heads-up display, rear view camera, night vision, active steering, Nappa leather, extended leather, or individual full merino leather. This Nappa leather, it could be standard, it could be extended, or you could have individual full merino. Interior trim, this means all the choices you have. We'll go over the choices of interior trim. Ceramic controls are pretty cool, very rare option. And then for the LCI models, we have adaptive LED headlights. They come standard as LED. You can get the adaptive ones. You have driver's assistant plus. You have park assist, surround view, comfort seats. Comfort seats are pretty much a must. Heated and ventilated front/rear seats. Comfort access, mostly standard on all these cars in the United States. However, it was actually an option that you had to check off from the factory. Soft closed doors, and then B&O. If you get a pre-facelift car, I know if soft closed doors come with the comfort package or convenience package. So some of these stuff come in packages, but for the facelift, you have to make sure that you get all these options because they're not necessarily going to be there. Cool. And then we have the problems. This car is a bunch of engines with a bunch of different problems, as you probably can assume, because it is, of course, a BMW. So in terms of all chassis, or in terms of every engine for all chassis codes, you can expect to have suspension issues. It's a heavy car. It's a full-size, big body flagship sedan, and therefore the bushings and different suspension components are going to go prematurely. If you get an L, the long wheelbase version, it does have air suspension in the rear, so that can also go bad. Some N63 problems specifically, this is going to be the V8. You have excessive oil consumption. This is from piston rings or even the valve stem seals, which are mentioned next. The valve stem seals, if your car is smoking on startup or when it's warming up, you see blue smoke coming out, that's definitely your valve stem seals. It's a problem with the V8. One of the things with this V8 is that it was the first version of a hot V, which means that the turbos sit in between the bank of the V, and everything gets really hot, including these valve stem seals, which turn, solid after being heat cycled through extreme temperatures a million times. Timing chain issues, if you have any timing chain noise, it could be a sign that your timing chain issue is going to go. However, there are, it's completely normal for your timing chain to make some noise on startup, especially when the car is cold, but after it gets warm, it should not make any noise. You also have cooling issues. As I mentioned before, this car engine specifically, it's really hot, and you can't, if anything breaks in the cooling system, then it's going to only lead to other issues. And the problem is things do break in this cooling system. Because it gets so hot, the cooling system can get brittle. A lot of these BMW engine bays are littered with plastic, and plastic doesn't hold up well to temperature and the elements. So that's an issue that can happen with pretty much all BMWs. Turbo issues, again, a BMW problem. You got oil leaks, wastegate leaks, vacuum leaks, wastegate rattles, vacuum leaks. The wastegates are actually powered by vacuum, so if you have vacuum leaks, the wastegates won't open properly. You also have fuel injector problems. This was actually addressed with an extended warranty. These cars had a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the fuel injectors. By now, all these cars are out of that warranty, so this doesn't really mean much, except for the fact that you have to make sure that this car had the fuel injectors addressed at some point. You don't want to get a car that has never had the fuel injectors addressed. This car is also direct injected, or this engine. Carbon buildup is going to be a thing. You're going to have to get your car walnut blasted every 30 to 40,000 miles in order to keep this issue at bay. Another thing with the N63 is fast battery drainage. For some reason, the way this engine is set up, the car, in order to, when it recharges the battery, it only does so when coasting, not under power. And so if you're driving this in the city a lot, you're not really coasting that much. And yeah, they did this to mitigate the amount of parasitic loss from the powertrain system on the engine to make it more efficient, but it ended up just making the battery drain. Also, the electronics stay on to cool the car after use. I'm talking about the fans to cool the turbos. If you ever noticed, you can turn off your car and you just hear the fans running. It's to cool off your car. The fans keeping the car on require the car to stay on after the car is off, which could also drain the battery as well. N55 issues, common issues on N55. The N55 is found in plenty of BMWs, not just the 740, but you have the valve cover gasket, oil pan gasket, oil filter housing gasket, you have the high pressure fuel pump, you have the Valvetronic oil squirter, the engine mounts, accessory drive system, water pump, and you have charge pipe issues. All this stuff is common on N55s. N55 is a great engine. I think it's really good. It's a really good engine in this car. A lot of people are, obsessed with, you buy this car to make a statement, right? And you're not going to make a statement with the smallest engine option. So a lot of people, especially in America, don't get the six cylinder if they're trying to get a 7 Series for the purpose of flexing. However, I do believe that the N55 is a really good engine. It fixed a lot of the problems that the N54 has. Obviously, it doesn't have the tuning capacity as the N54, but it is a lot more reliable. A lot of people are going to argue about that. N54 versus N55 is always a big argument or a big debate. But I do believe the N54 or N55 is a good engine in this car, simply because you're going to be getting a lot better efficiency and it's going to be cheaper to run. Yeah, N74 issues. So this is the V12. The V12, there's not as many examples of the V12 running around, so these issues are going to be less prevalent overall, but these are some of the things that have been reported. You have high pressure fuel pump issues, you have clogged/leaky injector issues, turbo failure / wastegate rattle, water pump failure, ignition coil failure, coolant transfer pipe leak, and valve stem seals. Kind of the same issues we see with the N55 and the N63. And then for the N57, you have the throttle assembly. There's a plastic gear that gets stripped in the throttle assembly, and you also have the crankshaft damper pulley, which goes bad. The high pressure fuel pump as well for the N57, as well as a timing chain, which is actually located on the back of the motor, making it a little bit harder to service. Some people have been able to service the car without pulling the motor, but that is going to be a more costly job. And then you have leaking vacuum hoses. As you can see, a lot of these issues are prevalent on all the engine options. It's just kind of a BMW materials thing. So yeah, you want to make sure that with these cars, you set aside some money. You're always going to run into some problems. It's never going to be a perfect experience with something with this many different components to go wrong. So I would say for these flagship luxury big body sedans, you set aside 25% of your purchase price to fix the problems, because you're going to run into a lot of problems in that first year of ownership, because you're just going to be, using the car differently than how it was before. And that's because just new owners, you're going to run into the problems, because as you own a car, right, you know what problems it has, so you avoid doing things that cause those problems. When you get a new car, you don't know what to avoid, so you end up running into the problems. Makes sense? And then other random problems you'll have is electronic issues with the cameras, infotainment system issues, speaker system issues. But these aren't as big of an issue in terms of cost as these engine issues, and they're not nearly as prevalent. Cool. We went over all that, and now it's time to get to the ads. I have a little bit more than normal in terms of ads, but we'll get through it. Just got a few extra ones. Oh, we never went through the options sheet. Let's do that real quick before we get to the ads. This is the 2009 build sheet. So we can see what the packages come with. So the luxury seating package comes with this is pre-facelift cars. These packages apply to pre-facelift cars. So the luxury seating package has the heating steering wheel, the power rear window, and manual rear side window sunshades, active driver's seat with massage action and ventilated front seats, and heated rear seats with ski bag. Luxury rear seating package is rear comfort seats and rear ventilated seats. So the rear seating package, you'll see that the seats, they have comfort seats in the rear, meaning it's not a standard bench. The back seats actually are able to move. You can see they're separate from the bench. Camera package, rear view camera, side view cameras. This became pretty much standard in the LCI models. You have the premium sound. So for the pre-LCI, you have the premium hi-fi fidelity 16 speaker sound system. For the facelifted cars, you can get the Bang & Olufsen system. I highly recommend getting that if you get a 2013 or later. For the sport package, it comes with active anti-roll bars, power tilt, telescopic leather wrap, multifunction sport steering wheel. It has the style 252s or the style 235s. It's your option, your pick. You have the active steering, the high gloss black shadowline exterior trim, and the roof trim strips in body color. I highly recommend also getting the sport package if you're getting one of these cars, simply because it makes the car look a whole lot more modern and a whole lot more appealing. It doesn't look as much like an old man car, unless you are an old man and you want that type of look. The M Sport or Sport package, depending on LCI or pre-LCI, is definitely something to look at. Also the convenience package, the automatic trunk opening and closing, the comfort access keyless entry, and then power soft closing doors. The convenience package is always is a big thing I recommend getting. Cold weather package has a heating steering wheel, heated rear seats with fast heating and balance control, and ski bag. So this, if you live in a colder climate, this can be something to look at. And driver's assistant package, we have high beam assistant, which turns on and off your high beams automatically, lane departure warning, and active blind spot detection. And then finally, we have the rear entertainment package, and it has rear seat entertainment with 2 individual 8-inch color screens. And in the LCI model, you got an upgrade to 9.2-inch screens. And then as you can see, for the first model year, it just was 750 and 750 Li. In terms of packages that I recommend looking for, I recommend looking for this luxury seating package with the luxury rear seating package. You definitely want the convenience package. I don't really care for driver's assistant, doesn't really matter to me, but adds the value. And then sport package as well as premium sound. Cameras, you know, a lot of them come, let's see what this says, including the camera package. A lot of them came optioned with the cameras anyway without getting the camera package, meaning it had the rear view but not the side view. If you get the rear view and not the side view, it's not the end of the world. But I suggest getting the camera package. So you really want all these packages. You don't really need the rear entertainment package, but that's cool to have. The cold weather package and driver's assistant package is up to you. But I suggest getting luxury seating, both front and rear, camera package, sound, sport, and convenience. See, the packages stay the same for the 2011. And then here is the 2012. Let's see where the package, yep. Premium sound, cold weather, convenience, driver's assistant, rear entertainment, M Sport, luxury seating, luxury rear seating. They introduced some individual options for 2011. As you can see, the individual options have the double spoke 301 style wheels, a leather covered instrument panel, high gloss black shadowline exterior trim, individual door sill finishers, piano black finish, red or dark red sycamore wood trim. So all these trims and upholstery options are part of the individual composition. That would also be a plus to get. However, it's not completely necessary. It just adds some cool colors. And then we have, this is a 2015. So this is the LCI. We can see the engine packages. Where are they at? No, let's see. I just had it. Okay, so this is the 2013. We can see the packages for the facelifted car here. As you can tell, executive package, executive plus package, and then they have other packages up here. M Sport package. But basically, that's it for the LCI. You have the M Sport, executive, and executive plus. Very different to what, and individual composition. It's not a package, but it's listed in the same section Let's see what the executive package is. It is the 235 wheels, the sun blinds for rear windows, electric ones, rear seat heating, TV function, and sun protective glass. And the Executive Plus has soft closed doors, sun blinds are for the rear windows, lumbar support, driver and front passenger. So it has upgraded front seats, seat heating, rear TV function. Cool. So yeah, a lot of the options, as I mentioned, are going to be a la carte. As you can see, the comfort seats are an a la carte option, front and rear. Same with the tables. Obviously, the tables are only available on the L's. A lot of these options are only available on the L's. For example, the comfort seats. It's kind of difficult to read, but as you can see, some of these options are not available on the short wheelbase cars. I did make a list of individual options to get. Let's see where that is. And yeah, we already went through them. But basically, this 2013 list is the LCI a la carte options to get. That will really bring up the value of your car. And also, that aren't too hard to find in the real world. Because you could get a fully optioned car and you could want to look for a fully optioned car. However, it'll be really hard to find in reality. All right, cool. Let's move on to Facebook. We have our first. Oh, I didn't even go over the colors. Gosh, there's so much stuff to go over with this 7 Series. Almost too much. Let's find these colors. Where are they? So this is the first model year 20. Let's do 2009. Obviously, the colors are probably going to be very similar. So we can see the colors on the left. They go up and down. We have Alpine White, Jet Black, Mineral White, Titanium Silver, Milano Beige, Cashmere Silver, Space Gray, Dark Graphite, Deep Sea Blue, Imperial Blue, Deep Green, Black Sapphire. So very standard colors for this segment of car. Nothing fancy, nothing bright. Let's see. Yeah, kind of the same colors for the 2011, except they introduced the individual colors. For upholstery, for the pre-2011, we have black, oyster, oyster and black, and saddle brown and black. I do enjoy the saddle brown and black interiors. For the 2011, we can see that they added some different interior colors. We have black Dakota leather, oyster and black Dakota, light saddle, brown Dakota. So Dakota is going to be the standard leather spec. If you want to get a step above, you can get black Napa, or Napa leather in general. We have black, oyster, Napa, black and oyster, and saddle and black. And then for the full merino leather, you can get an individual leather color, which is cool, really hard to find. But you can also get platinum full merino, champagne full merino, and this brown Amaro. I can't really see that too well, but Amaro brown full leather. We'll see a lot of examples of these cars with these brown leather interiors. That's what I kind of like about 7 Series. Is a lot of them actually came optioned pretty well. And what else? Here is the wood trim. Good amount of different trims that you can find. We have the fine line high gloss wood, fine line matte wood, ash grain wood. You have the burl walnut wood individual. We have dark red sycamore, walnut honey wood, and piano black finish trim. I really like this fine line high gloss wood, the ash grain wood, and this burl walnut wood. Piano black is cool. It just gets fingerprints. It looks a little cheap after a while, but I suggest getting one of these 3: burled walnut, ash grain, or the fine line high. Actually, you know, the matte one also probably looks cool. I haven't really seen that many with the matte wood interiors, but if we find any today, we'll see how that looks. Matte probably doesn't look too bad. And then we'll look at some of the facelifted colors that they offered. Let's see. So you can tell that they kept it kind of the same in terms of exterior colors. They added a couple more blues, but overall pretty much the same. The interior colors, they added a ton. We have these Dakota leather options as before. We have black, or we have more Napa. We have Venetian beige Napa, and this ivory white and black. And then for the full merino, we have some extra color options as well. We have white, platinum black, caramel black, champagne, Amaro brown, and canyon brown. So the later the model year, the more interior colors, tons of different options for the LCI. And then for the interior trims, we have the white ash grain wood, which is pretty cool, honeywood piano black finish, as well as the burl walnut, fine line matte, fine line high gloss, ash grain, and light poplar. I'd stay away from the light poplar, go for the darker woods, except for this light or this white ash. Looks pretty cool. But as you can see, there are a ton of different combinations, and the cars are almost available in every single combination. The only ones that are pretty rare are the Amaro brown and the Canyon brown interiors. Those are not available on some colors, but as you can see, almost every color option is available, no matter what way you want it. Very cool. Cool. All right, cool. Let's get on to the ads. 2012 7 Series with 60,000 miles. This has a rebuilt title. Didn't mean to put a rebuilt title on here. Didn't even read the ad up, if I'm gonna be honest. But we'll take a look at the spec on this one. As you can tell, rebuilt, probably was in a front end accident. The hood lines don't line up at all. Pretty standardly spec car. Can we see the back of the front seats? Because that's how you can tell if it's active or not. I'm not active, multi-contour. We do have the multi-contour seats. Very few cars came with the base seats. But as you can tell for the rear, yeah, you don't have any rear comfort package. Is that what it's called? So, yeah, I have a hard time remembering the package names on all these things, man. Luxury rear seating package doesn't have that. Does it have the luxury seating package? Does it have the power sunshades? That's one thing you have to, or the sunshades at all. Yep, it has the luxury seating package, but just not the rear one. It has some options, but again, it is a rebuilt title. And what did I say about rebuilt titles? You take off 40%, so that's 10 grand. I'd be around 6 grand, 60,000 miles. So 6 grand for this, 60,000 miles wouldn't be a bad deal at all. It is a 740, so it has the N55 engine, a lot more reliable than the other 3 examples, other 4 examples. It's probably the most reliable one. However, it does have a rebuilt title. I'd say for this, 6 grand would be where I'd be at. It is a rebuilt title car. Here we have a 2013 clean title. Cash price is 13 grand. Clean car, runs and drives excellent, no issues at all. Fully M package, so this is a sport. You have the paddle shifters, peanut interior, new tires, new M package wheels, very well maintained, heated seats, sunroof, backup camera, nav, parking sensors, current emission, recent oil change, financing available, 3-month free engine and warranty or transmission warranty. Interesting. This must be some sort of dealer to offer that kind of warranty. But as you can see, it is a blue car, blue on brown, with the standard seats. They didn't even get the luxury seating package. How unfortunate that they actually got this car. It's an LI with standard seats. That's actually really horrible in terms of spec, but it is an M Sport, which I guess makes up for it a little bit. But look, you can tell it doesn't even have the thigh support extension. Very weird to spec a car like this. However, it is what it is. It has 120,000 miles. They want 13 grand. It's a 13, so it is a let's see. I mean, it's 2013, so it must be a facelifted car. We can count the slats in the grille if we want to be. It's hard to tell with the facelift, but it looks like only 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9 slats in the grille, facelift car. You can tell by the headlights too, but they're a little foggy. The thing is, though, it's like they don't look squared off, but I guess they are. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. M Sport. Very few interior options. It does have a cool color, but it is not comfort seats, so that takes away a lot of value in my opinion. It is an M Sport, so that adds some value. I'd say for this car, 120,000 miles, it not having any interior options but being an M Sport, I'll be willing to pay up to 11 grand for this car. 11 grand, 120,000 miles. Hopefully a lot of the mechanical things have been addressed. It is a 740, so it has the more reliable motor. But yeah, I'm going off of the fact that I hope most things have been addressed because it has so many miles. Here we have a 2015, last model year of the car. 56,000 miles. They want 17.8. Not a bad price. If I'm off of face value, let's see what they have to say. Okay, so they gave it a nice ChatGPT description. I hate descriptions like this. You get another one, because you don't really tell anything about the car. You just copy and paste something from a brochure. It's really annoying. You might as well just leave it blank. Here we can see that it has the nice light interior, but with the comfort seats. The back seats don't seem to be comfort seats, unfortunately. However, the front seats are. There's no rear seating package. We can see that it also has the camera systems. It is a 2015, so it should have all the bells and whistles, you know, that could be expected. It doesn't look like it have the panoramic roof, but it does have the Bang & Olufsen, which is a really good option. As you can see, they don't really show the buttons. I'm trying to see the center console to see any blank switches. It looks pretty optioned out. I don't see any blank switches, which is good. It doesn't look like it has the panoramic roof. At least I can't. It might be closed. I can't really tell, honestly. But it does have the window shades, as you can see in that one photo. So it does have the front convenient. Oh man, I keep forgetting what's it called. Luxury. It does have the luxury seating. This is a 2015, so we actually have to look at the LCI. We have to look at these packages. What package does this LCI have? So really the only way to tell if it is an executive plus versus executive is to see if the lumbar support is on the passenger side, which is interesting. There's not really any view of the passenger side seat where you can see the lumbar support. But it could be one of the two packages. It definitely has one of them. I'd say for this isn't far off. It's 2015, it has 56,000 miles. I'm not sure what's wrong with the car. It says it has a clean title, but the price kind of seems a little off with this low miles. I'd say I'd be around 17 grand for this car. 16 and a half, 17 grand. This car is pretty well optioned, except for the aftermarket wheels. So 16 grand. If you get the stock wheels, that would be a steal. 16 grand, it was a steal. Like, honestly, this car is one of the better deals here if it checks out. Here we have a 760. So this is going to be the V12. It's a silver car with a beige interior. However, the 760s are known to be super optioned from the factory, as in, like, you don't have to option it at all. Basically, they come with a lot of stuff standard. This is going to be a pre-facelift car, a pre-facelift V12. So it's not going to have as many standard options as a facelifted V12. But we can see that it has a good amount already. It has a two-tone interior, which looks really nice. I like this wood trim. On the light interiors, it looks okay. On the dark interiors, not really a big fan. However, this light interior looks really nice. It's a two-tone with this white upper dash part, which looks really cool. I believe this is like a 760 option specifically, because I really barely see any cars with a light color dash like this besides the 760s. 112,000 miles, so a little bit higher on the mile side. However, the price is not too high. It is $19,900, so 20 grand for this car. It has the rear entertainment package as well as the rear executive package. Let's see if we can get a good picture of the rear seats. You can see that they are like individual seats that extend and recline. We also don't have a rear panoramic roof in this example. So pretty loaded car. However, it is an earlier example. But the thing is with these early examples, you know, they are a little bit less reliable. However, they're a little bit cheaper to maintain just because you have a little bit less in terms of options to worry about. But in terms of the powertrain, the V12 pretty much stayed the same for the entire run of the F series, 7 series. I'd say for this one, I wouldn't recommend paying over like $18,500. It's pretty close. It is a V12 and it looks very clean. You want to make sure that it has a good service history. But yeah, 17, 18 is a pretty good deal for a V12 BMW, especially one with the rear entertainment package. Cool. Moving on to our final ad on Facebook, we have a 2015 740 LD. This is going to be the diesel version of the car. Very rare car in the United States. There's only a handful for sale at one time. I believe there's probably like 5 maybe for sale in the country right now. So wow, I'm going way over time. I'm at, oh no, I'm at 45. Thought I started at 12 for a second. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Back to the diesel BMW 7 Series. We have a not really that optioned out example. Let's see what the front seats look like. It does look like we have the contour front seats, which is good. The rear seats, no rear package at all. We do have some driver's assistance buttons missing. Not really any other blank switches that I can see. Yeah, doesn't look like it has the best leather. It looks like it's perforated though. If there's another heat, it looks like they're both ventilated and perforated. How about the rear? The rear does not look ventilated and perforated. Doesn't look like it has any specs for the rear seats at all. See if it even has, it should have the rear shades at least. No, it doesn't even have the rear shades. Yeah, so it doesn't even have the, what package is that? Doesn't have executive or executive plus package. It just has some seat options. That's what it seems like to me. I do not see any window shades that could be pulled. Yeah, don't see nothing. It's a pretty base car aside from being a diesel. I mean, obviously in other countries, the diesels are more base cars in general. So this kind of fits the bill. However, in the United States, we really don't want, the diesel is more of a premium car in the United States for some reason. And so we don't want a lesser spec premium car. 32 grand is a ton of money for this car, especially for having 140,000 miles. I understand this is a rare example of the 7 Series. However, 32 grand is way too much. I'd say for 140,000 miles, I'd be around 20 grand. So, yeah, RIP to you. You probably never get 32 grand for this. Should give you one of these two for thinking that you will. But yeah, 20 grand for this. I don't think I'd pay anything close to 32. Moving on to Auto Trader, we have our first example, the cheapest example that I've seen, period. This is a 2015, so actually the last model year car, but it's a 740 with 305,000 miles. I don't know if this car was used as like an airport shuttle or something where you have to drive really long distances, but it's very clean for the amount of miles. You can see we got some seat wear right here. It looks like this is separating a little bit, and as you can also see, it has these standard seats. Nothing special about this car at all. No panoramic roof, obviously. You don't have the, you don't even have the ventilated front seats, as you can tell. If it was ventilated and heating, you'd have this button right here. And then another one on the other side for ventilated and heating, but you don't. No Alcantara, nothing. It has standard wood trim. The seats are the basic Dakota leather seats, as you could tell, not perforated. Yeah, this car is super base, one of the most base 7 Series that you can probably find. And the price reflects it. $6,900. This car has 305,000 miles. And for having a clean title, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, never been in an accident. Wow. I'd say for this car, I'd be willing to pay 3 grand. 3 grand for this car, and I'd be really happy. It has the N55, 305,000 miles. So you'd assume that everything has been taken care of over and over and over again. This car has been properly maintained to last that long and look this clean. And even though it is a base car, I do think that is a good deal if you can get it for 3 grand. Cool. Moving on to our next one. We have a 2011, so pre-facelift 7 Series or 750. Has some nice wheels on it. I do like the wheels. They do add to the look of the car, make it look a little bit more modern. See the interior spec. We have this wood. I like this wood trim. We also have the multi-contour seats. That is good. Only 57,000 miles. We can see this has the front heated and ventilated seats by these buttons right here. See what the rear seats look like. We have the rear entertainment package, which is good. What else do we have? How can I want to see the rear seats. Who is this? Why would you upload these pictures? Okay. All right, back to the rear seats. Let's see if we can find anything that shows that they're heated. Oh man, I wish they would pull down the center console. It doesn't look like it has any rear seat options. It doesn't have the comfort seats in the rear. It doesn't look like it. I can't tell completely, but it does have the rear entertainment package, which is pretty cool. Only 57,000 miles. This car, the rear entertainment package is going to add some good, some value to the car. A lot of people like this option, even though a lot of people never use this option. It's kind of a flex just to have in your car. 15 grand for a 57,000 mile pre-LCI 750. This is something you want to make sure that the car actually runs correctly. A cheap V8 BMW is always going to be, you know, a headache down the road. You want to make sure that it doesn't burn any oil. You want to make sure the valve stem seals are good. You want to make sure just it runs good in general and has had the proper maintenance. If it runs good but has had no maintenance, you're probably gonna have to deal with that yourself. If it runs good and has had the maintenance, that means it will probably be continued to run good throughout your ownership. And as I mentioned before, the reason why we're not going into the really low mile examples of this car is because those aren't good values. If you're gonna pay 30 to 40 grand on a flagship sedan, you should buy the newest one and just lease it or something, not lose a bunch of money on an outdated platform when someone already has used it and got the benefits out of it. Don't be the guy that gets stuck holding the bag. You want to, so basically what we're doing is the guy holding the bag is the guy who buys it originally, right? He's holding the bag, he has to dump it before he loses too much money. So he's the one holding the bag. The second person on that downtrend of price is the real guy who's screwed because he doesn't get to enjoy it new and he gets the biggest depreciation hit. What we're trying to do is catch it on the bottom and hopefully ride the bottom, maybe even pull up a little bit, depending on, you know, how desirable the model of the car is. So this is why we're sticking to higher mile cars. Plus, buying a higher mile car will mean that the maintenance has been addressed. And so in order to save money, yeah, we're looking at higher mile cars. This one is 14.7. I don't think, like, I'm just getting the vibes that the car isn't on the best terms mechanically. So I think that a good 12 grand will be a good price for something like this. 57,000 miles, really low. 12 grand would be a really good deal. Probably won't get it, but 12 grand for something like this would be great. Here we have a 2015 diesel in white with the M Sport package. Not a bad looking car. The M Sports on the facelifted cars look really nice, especially with the rear valence that it's in black. And this one has the light brown interior. It does not have the Bang & Olufsen system. It has the Harman Kardon system, as you can see. For the facelifted cars, the Bang & Olufsen had silver speaker grills. Easy to tell. No rear seat package here either. Does it have sunshades? It does not have sunshades. So it's not executive package, but it does have the comfort seats. Let's see if I can see the seat. I mean, it has the multi-contour seats. Nothing for the rear. It is a diesel with the cool interior package, but it doesn't have the Bang & Olufsen either. So it's not the most loaded car by any means, but it does have this cool trim. I do like this wood trim with the gold inlay. It has that going for it, as well as the brown interior. However, yeah, it doesn't have the rear seat packages. It does have ventilated front seats. I think those are standard with the comfort multi-contour seats. But yeah, nothing going on in the rear. This car is listed for $16,900, which is really good. We looked at this diesel, which was a 2015, and it had 137,000 miles. They wanted 32 grand. For this car, where is it? It is a 2015 with 104,000 miles. They want 17 grand, literally almost half the price. This is something I would be more interested in. Half the price, you really can't go wrong. If you could get this for 15 grand, that would be a steal. The 740 diesels are super rare, super desirable cars. If you can get it for under 16 grand, that would be a steal. no matter what trim you get, honestly. These are just super desirable, especially in the diesel community. Here we have a 2015 V8 model. They want 19 grand for it. It has 97,000 miles. Right before it hits 100 grand. 100 grand is where probably you'll get a large depreciation hit in terms of these BMWs. This one is nice though. It's in this gray color with the black interior. Pretty standardly spec'd. We can see it also has the black headliner. Very nice. I love the black headliner on these cars. It looks like it has the black optics package. What else can we see? We can see that, let's see. Yeah, no rear seat options here. It doesn't even have the, actually, yeah, it does, never mind. But I say it doesn't have the contour seats. This one, I gotta look at these seats again. Just to get a better, yeah. No contour, as you can tell, one solid piece. This one is movable. No heated front or no heated rear seats, no rear seat options here. However, it is a 2015, so you're going to get the most standard options you can get. And it looks like it's an M Sport model with the shadow line. That's standard on M Sport. Yep, you can see the M Sport wheel. Very nice car, M Sport 750 for 19 grand, 97,000 miles. I'd say for this car, it's a little bit more risky to be paying this high price, even though it is a later model year, last model year actually for the F series, 7 series. I'd say if you could get this for 16, because the miles are about to hit 100, that would be a better deal. 15 after it hits after 100, honestly. So you probably get a 1 grand dip. You know, that's average across the board. Once you hit 100,000 miles compared to like 97, it's going to take a hit no matter what. It hits 100. And here we have a 760. This is going to be a facelifted 760. So one of the nicest cars you can get. As you can see, it has Alpino wheels. Someone put those on. Not sure if they're stock or not, but as you can see, the 760 has the different bumper with the custom, not custom, but the not individual, I guess either, but the specific exhaust for the 760. It has quad tips. And this interior color looks amazing with this wood trim on the steering wheel. It says something here, I can't really read it, but this interior color looks amazing. Bang & Olufsen, brown on wood everywhere with the black Alcantara headliner, this brown on black two-tone. Kind of, I guess. It's not really a two-tone except for the headliner itself, but it looks amazing. It's just a wonderful spec on this car. What a great place to sit inside. It doesn't really say the wheel thing. Yep, we can see that there is really not much you can add to this car in terms of options. You pretty much have everything. Let's look at the rear seat. The rear seat has the Executive Plus. Come on, man. Bang & Olufsen, obviously. Yep, we can see the rear shades. Does it show the passenger seat at all? We can see if it's truly Executive Plus. Actually, it is, because it has these headrests. Yeah. Executive Plus, fully loaded car. It even has the adaptive cruise control. Fully loaded, every single option you could possibly want. The only problem is it is almost 100,000 miles. 27,000 they're asking for. This is almost 100,000 miles, which is a lot for the F series. I know it's supposed to be like, you know, it's a luxury car, and usually these flagship models can go for a long time, but these 100,000 is kind of pushing it. And the reason why I would prefer like a 130,000 mile car over a 98,000 mile car is simply because 100,000 miles, as I mentioned before, is when a lot of things go wrong, and mentally where a lot of people take care of a lot of problems. So overall, on a balance of probabilities, the 98,000 mile car is one of those cars that is going to be that has been thoroughly enjoyed, and now they are starting to notice some of the problems that are starting to come up, and they're trying to get rid of the car before they have to spend 6, 7, 8 grand to address all these problems. So that being said, I wouldn't recommend paying like over 23, 24 for this car. You're going to have some issues. Obviously, there are going to be some issues. You can't avoid them. The only thing you can do is avoid paying as much as you can when you buy the car. So 23, 24 for this fully spec. This spec is really nice, and I believe does add value to the car. Does it have the rear entertainment? No, it doesn't, but it does have the Executive Plus. Yeah. Cool. And then we have our final example. I just wanted to show this because it is one of those lower mile, later model years examples that you have to pay a little bit more for. But I just simply would not pay that much for this car. It only has 50,000 miles. That could be a good or a bad thing. It could be a good thing in the sense that the owner probably took care of a lot of stuff in the last couple months of his ownership because it did reach 50,000 miles. Or it could mean the exact opposite, as in he pushed the service and is trying to get rid of it. Something you really need to look out for is the maintenance history in this car, especially how recently it's been maintained. 750 M Sport with a really cool interior package. We can tell it has the perforated leather seats as well as Bang & Olufsen. See what it has for the rear seat packages. Yeah, I mean, it's standardly equipped in the rear. It does have the rear heated seat option. So it has some rear seat options in terms of heating. It doesn't have ventilation, but it does have the heated seats in the rear, which is a cool option to have, as well as having Bang & Olufsen and a cool, it has the black ashwood trim. Very nicely spec car with a white exterior. However, $27,800 is a lot to pay for one of these, especially when, you know, you could be spending 50% more on a newer generation car. I'd say for this, I wouldn't recommend paying over 25 simply because you're going to have a lot of stuff to look at in terms of work. And it's a lower mile. These cars are known for their issues. That being said, the facelifted N63s are said to be a lot better than the pre-facelift N63s. So this one is a little bit more reliable. However, 25 is where I'd be at. That's where I'd max it out at. Cool. We have our Car Guru ads. Here we have a 2012, so pre-facelift, 740 rear-wheel drive. So it's the lease option car, 740, base engine, base drive, base wheelbase. See what options it has. It has the contour seats, which is good. Rear seat options. You can't even tell if they're heated or not, unfortunately. Yeah, it doesn't really say. It has front ventilated seats. I can't tell if it has rear heated seats, but it doesn't have like contour rear seats or anything like that, or comfort rear seats. It just has the regular seats, and it is a short wheelbase. They want 10 or 11 grand for this. It has 97,000 miles. You know, this isn't too bad of a price. If you could get this for 9 grand, you know, that would be really good. It doesn't have too many miles, and I mean, it's a clean spec. You know, it's not the most expensive spec. It's not the most spec'd out car, but it is going to be the most reliable and you know, a really cheap way to get into a 7 Series. And you know, this one doesn't actually look that bad at all. I'm going to be honest myself. I believe it's a sport package too. Cool. Here we have a 2014 740i. So it's going to be a facelifted version of that car we looked at before, with you know, a little bit better of an interior spec. However, as you can see just off of this, it has no driver's assistance package at all. So as I mentioned before, the 740 is going to be a little bit more base. You can see that it has the base rear seats. The only thing it has are the multi-contour front seats, as well as the rear window shade option. So it is an executive, but not an executive plus, without the driver's assistance package. So it has some options. It's kind of like a mid-option car. It is a 740, so LI, so it's going to be kind of on the higher end of the 6-cylinder cars, and they want 13 grand for it. It has 102,000 miles. You know, that's not too bad for a facelift car. If you can get it for under 12 or under 11.5, that would be pretty good. This does have a good amount of options for what it is being a 740. Moving on to a 2013, we have a white example M Sport package, or I guess it's just a sport. No, it is M Sport. Yep. M Sport package with the brown interior, the light brown, not the dark brown. Trying to see the seats. It has that wood trim that I like with the gold inlay. Let's see. It's hard to see on these pictures some of these seat options. However, it doesn't look like much is going on with the rear seat. Let me see real quick. This is actually... Yeah, I don't see any seat heaters or anything. So it looks like a standard rear seat. However, it does have the black headliner, which is a really good option in my opinion. I believe that comes with the sport package. The shifter looks a little bit different too, a little bit darker metal. Yeah, not a bad spec car. No rear seat options. However, the front seats are going to be comfortable, and it is a short wheelbase. And it's not all-wheel drive. 15 grand. It has 79,000 miles. It's actually pretty good for a pre-facelift car. As I mentioned, it doesn't have the most options, and it is a short wheelbase. With 79,000 miles, not bad. I'd say 13 grand, 14 grand for this car would be a really good deal. 13 or 14. You know, one thing I like about these 7 Series is the values aren't too far off. That's a big thing with BMW, is that people aren't, for the most part, aren't too delusional with their pricing, because they know these cars are not the most reliable, and people are able to use that against them. Here we have a 760, another pre-facelift 760. This one actually looks like the exact same one we looked at earlier. I went through a ton of ads already today, so we don't have to go through this again. But yeah, this is another 760. We already went through that. Here we have another 740. So I mean, a 740 diesel. So this is going to be the diesel example. Another thing to tell diesels, it has the single pipes on one side, similar to the, I guess the, what's the 740. Let's see what a 740 looks like. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, 740 has a dual pipes. The 740D is the only one that has the single pipe, reminiscent of like a 28 or something. What packages do we have here? It looks like we have everything besides the radar cruise control. Let's see, we're going through these. I want to see the rear seats. So we do have heated rear seats. That's a good thing. Heated rear seats. Other than that, no rear seat options, but we do have the heated rear seats, which is good, especially because this is a facelift car. Wait, am I looking at the same one? Yeah. Okay, cool. So 2015, they want 26 grand for this diesel. It is a last model year diesel, so it's going to be pretty desirable, and it is an M Sport as well. Very desirable spec on this diesel. It has the rear seated heats as well. The color is not that great, and it doesn't have Bang & Olufsen, but they do want 26 for 77,000 miles. These diesels are going to go for a lot more than what you think, so 26 isn't too far off. I'd be more around the 23 grand mark for this car. 23 grand would be really good for 77,000 miles, 7 Series diesel. And then finally, for these two Car Gurus ads, we're going to look at the two versions of the hybrid just to go over them. They're pretty rare. A lot of people don't actually see them. I've never seen one on the road, actually. But this is the Active 7 hybrid for the pre-facelift. If I were to get a car, I'd get the pre-facelift one simply because it comes with a hybrid V8. Not really many cars have that. Hybrid V8 for the pre-facelift car. Let's see what this one has specifically in terms of options, rear seat options specifically. This one does not look like it has any real options. It does have the seated heats for the rear, but in terms of reclining, nothing. It's not Executive Plus or anything. Does it have the window shades? Does it have the window shades? You know, I don't see any window shades. Yeah, I don't think this car has window shades, so it doesn't have that going for it. That means it is not executive at all. It just has rear seated heats, or heated seats. I'm gonna say heated seats. All right, and they want 14 grand for that car. Not too bad in my opinion. 74,000 miles. You just want to make sure that that hybrid system is okay. Definitely want to make sure that's checked out by a dealer. But yeah, this isn't too bad in terms of the deal. You're getting almost 500 horsepower and over 500 pound-feet of torque in this Active 7 hybrid, the pre-facelift. Definitely a car I consider looking at if you want to be unique and have one of the rarest cars on the road. And then here we have a facelift active hybrid. This one has the M55, going to be a lot slower, but also a lot more efficient. See what we have in terms of options. Good seats in terms of the contour seats. Do they show the rear seats? They do. Nothing really that fancy going on with the rear seats. I don't see any seat heaters either. 83,000 miles. They want 16 grand for this. It seems that these hybrids are a little bit cheaper than what you'd expect, but then again, this hybrid is not that powerful and probably really hard to maintain in terms of finding parts for the hybrid system. But you can get this one for 16 grand. I'd say for this one, I'd pay 12 grand. For this one, I'd pay 13 grand. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the car gurus. And then finally, actually, no, that's pretty much it in general. We went over all the heads. Sorry, that was a lot to go over today. I kind of lost myself there, but I hope you guys learned something. What I recommend getting is a facelifted 2014 plus V8 model. I think obviously the V8s are going to be the least reliable. However, if you get a 2014 plus, you're going to get the most reliable of the least reliable engine. Plus, you're going to have the most standard options. And a lot of people tend to get scared of the V8 models, so you can kind of use that as a negotiation tool. The V8 models also came with, you know, I don't know if I said this, the most standard options compared to the 740. The 760 is going to be also something that I get. However, you're going to have to pay a lot more for the 760, as well as having some problems that are 760 specific, which are going to be hard to fix. Again, all these can be mitigated by getting a really perfect car from the beginning. However, we're here to get deals, and with those deals, you're not necessarily going to get the best price or the best. Of course, you're going to get the best price. You're not necessarily going to get the most mechanically or cosmetically sound car, and that's okay because those things can be fixed. The amount you pay in the beginning when you buy the car cannot be changed. The car itself can be changed for the most part. So buy a car that, if you want those changes to be made, you know they can be made for the right price. I don't recommend getting a pre-LCI. Anything BMW, LCIs really show where the BMW took what the customer said into consideration and actually applied it to the vehicle instead of just ignoring it. This is where all the problems were fixed. So I suggest getting an LCI no matter what BMW you get, 7 Series included. Just remember that the prices are going to be a little bit higher. And yeah, if you want to get the most efficient one, get the hybrid LCI or get any pre-LCI, LCI 6-cylinder. They're going to be way cheaper. However, the options are going to be really there. So you have to be more vigilant when you're shopping for the 3-liter 6-cylinder. Yeah. Also, the diesel is really cool to have. A lot of people love the diesels, and they're all over the place in terms of price. So if you can find the diesel for cheap, I suggest hopping on that. The resale value for the diesel is going to be a lot higher than the gas engines in terms of percentage lost. So I suggest getting a diesel if you're into that. Obviously, the maintenance is going to be a little bit more challenging on the diesel because you have to find a specific diesel mechanic, and there are diesel specific problems. But the diesel can be fun to have and is a really cool owning experience. That wraps it up for today, y'all. I hope you guys learned a lot in this 7 Series lecture, I guess you can call it. Tomorrow, let's see. Do I have a coin I can flip or something? I don't know if I want to do the Quattroporte or the Rapide. I'm going to do the Rapide because I think that is a more exciting car to talk about. So Aston Martin Rapide tomorrow. See you guys around 12:30. It just takes me a while to get all the notes together, and if I don't want to do a show where I'm not prepared enough. I've had some shows in the past where I really finished a show and I really thought like, wow, this show isn't as best as it could be. I didn't prepare as much, and then some of the things I miss, like I forget to say. And you guys have to understand, like I'm doing this live in one take, and I'm doing this style of content making for something very information dense, and it's really hard to capture every single piece of information and remember to say it live. A lot of the stuff, it's crazy how much stuff I remember to talk about after I hit stop the live. So bear with me. You know, this is we build it as we fly it, right? Shout out to Kevin Samuels, RIP. And yeah, shout out to you, Clean Whips, always in the chat showing support. You see I got my soundboard here. But yeah, man, I will see you guys tomorrow, 12:30 around, with the Aston Martin Rapide. Fire deal if you didn't know about the car, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Peace, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.